Hello and welcome to Impact Podcast. This is your host Christian, along with my co-hosts Amani and Darren, back at another episode for you guys. We hope that y'all have enjoyed the past 2 weeks of episodes. We'll have some more good things on the way for you all. Before we get started, I just want y'all to do a couple things for me. I want you to, first of all, like, tag, and subscribe to this channel. Tag on the Facebook page to the Rockstone Church page, or you can follow the Impact Podcast Show page on Instagram, and we will make sure that we give you a shout out if you put in the comments that you did those things. We'll give you a shout out. Also. You can follow each and every one of us that's on this podcast at Naraya.tv, Naraya.tv, that's Darren. You got underscore Money, that's Imani. And then you got Christian Kennedy, that's me. We'll be very thankful for you to drop a follow. We post good things. We got great things coming out for you soon. And with that being said, how's everybody's day been today?
Oh, it's been good, man. Still going. A long day, but nice day too outside. So
Oh yeah, yeah, it's beautiful outside. I had a
Yeah,
good day.
it's been kind of warm out there.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't trust Georgia.
I know. Might be
Yeah,
a
because next week
snowstorm
it'll be
next
like
week.
snowing or
For real.
something.
Right.
For real, man.
Tomorrow morning it might be 33 degrees.
Yeah.
I know, man.
I don't know.
We got one more month though.
Yeah, one more month of winter, right?
No, I'm saying just Georgia. Like, I think by the end of March, early April, it will be consistent with nice days.
Okay, okay.
I
Hopefully.
got you. I got you. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's get started with this episode. We've been talking about Survivor Series, the Survivor Series, and different things that we do to survive overcoming certain things. And I think that's a very great topic to cover in this segment of our lives as we're going to this new year and things. So let's start off with the first question. And it's our topic is surviving success. So our first question is it says, did success ever isolate you more than struggle did? How did it affect your relationships and build your faith?
Mm. Um, I'll start off. I feel like, and we talked a little bit about this. Like when God does things, He kind of just like he'll escalate it sometimes. Um, so when I first like started buckling it down with my studies and all of that, and just doing better in that regard, I noticed that some of the people I was hanging out with like kind of fell to the wayside. You know, I had like a new group of people, people that studied more, and people that just had a different mindset. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a part of it. Just um, when you are in certain areas of your life, when you are successful, it comes with a different group of people, or you might lose certain people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
And nah, I feel that way too, cause like you sometimes have to basically lock in, as they say, and
Mm-hmm.
other people they might not cherish their future or whatever the case is, but you kind of got to put all that fun stuff to the side for a season just to just stay focused, you know what I mean? So um like even with me as I am now, I mean, I've seen like success compared to what I was, but as far as my dreams and goals, um it take a lot, so I really do have like little time to just kind of hang out. And if it is like any time to hang out, it's more so with like my family or my wife. So
Yeah.
I feel that I won't say chasing success, but like basically achieving your goals, you will have to go through a point where you kind of isolate yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I agree with what both of y'all said, really, because really to be successful, you have to go away from what everybody's doing. And ultimately those that are the most successful, they they feel alone, they feel isolated, and they have to sacrifice things that everybody else has in order to get that whatever they're longing for. Let's use an athlete for an example. A lot of times the most successful athletes didn't have as many friends or didn't have as many people that they would be close with or didn't have as much fun because they had to isolate to train. So
Yeah, yeah,
if you just think about things, even if you're just on your job, sometimes it gets to a point in your life where you find yourself, it's not like you're trying to push away your friends or push away people that you grew up with, but it's a point in our lives where we really lock in and we're like, okay, we got to focus on our career because at the end of the day, they're not paying my bills. I'm the one that has to pay these bills. I'm the one that wants to have success and build a life that I'm happy with. So instead of going out on Friday night, instead of, always hanging out, doing this, spending all my money, I'm going to save money and I'm going to work hard. So that's another way that you can that through
yeah.
success, isolation kind of follows.
And there's something like a teacher had told me in 12th grade, and I always remember this. He said, either you're gonna work hard now, or you're gonna work hard later. And I keep
Hmm.
that with me because I always think about it. Like a lot of people, they're gonna want to enjoy and have fun now, but then later, when you do the opposite, like sacrificing now and isolating now, but then later in your 40s or your 50s, you can kind of kick back and enjoy.
Hmm.
They're gonna have to work and do all this stuff because they chose fun in their early 20s and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
I
Because
see.
the thing,
I see
yeah,
a
you
lot
go
of.
ahead,
Oh
Amani.
no, go ahead.
You go
No, I
ahead.
was just saying. I just to add to. It, I see a lot of teachers that really be kicked. They be chilling. Like I'm not saying they're rich or nothing,
yeah,
but if you do it right, man, I'll be
like you'll be good.
like they just be like, oh, what you doing today? Oh, I went to the Y, and like teachers that come back that's retired. And I went on a cruise 2 weeks ago, but that's
Yeah,
because for 25 years,
yeah, they put that work
you
in.
know what I mean? They went to work, yeah. And they put money away.
Hmm.
My bad. What were you gonna say, Christian?
Yeah, I was just basically the same thing y'all be saying. People, I'm not saying anything wrong because you can, if God's plan is for you to be rich after a certain amount of time or be successful after a certain amount of time, that's God's plan. However, that does not mean that God condones you to not do anything with your life in your 20s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be like, what God has for me is for me. Okay, it is for you, but you can delay what God has for you. If you're in your 20s, you can't live with the fact that, okay, God gives me life, so I'm just gonna have fun now and not lock in. But because
Hmm.
it's times in life where I think it was Jeff Bezos and all those people where they didn't get rich until after they was a certain age. But at the same time, foundation is everything. Just because you're not as successful, you're not as rich, does not mean that these people that are successful didn't set a foundation when they was in their 20s, when they was young. You always need to set a foundation, and that foundation needs to be within, of course, God, but within your inner what you want in life. What do you aspire to be? What are your goals? You know what I'm saying? Once you have discipline and all those type of things, and you set those things in your 20s or whatever, once you aspire to those things, you can build upon that foundation. Anything that's built without a foundation is not stable. So you always have to build on that and then it'll go far. Even with relationships, I was talking to somebody the other day about like no knock on nobody about this type of thing, but so many people they with commitment, they're more committed to having a baby and building a family without getting married rather than getting married and then building a family. A lot of men out here, they think that oh they don't want to propose, they don't want to commit to a woman or anything like that, but but then they would have a baby with this woman. So it's like they don't have no foundation, but I think that having a child is more of a commitment than actually you know, actually, moving into marriage because I don't know what the mindset of these people in 2026 is, but they'll have a whole kid and be like, I'm not ready for commitment. But then it's just it doesn't make sense to me. Like a child is probably the biggest commitment you'll have in your life.
It was like, hey, like, yo, surprise, you got 18 years of commitment now.
Yes, but that's an example. That's an example of building something with no foundation. You're having kids and you're doing all this type of stuff, and you still won't commit to the person. So you don't have no foundation. The foundation by God is supposed to be, marriage, the relationship. But you do all these other things. You want an idea of a family, but you don't want to do it God's way. You don't want to set a foundation. So going back onto this, if you a lot of times if you do things the right way, you'll be isolated in those type of situations because many people look back and they'll be like, oh, you notice when people are doing things the right way. Like if somebody set up their business or something, you notice when they did it the right way because they have a good foundation and you have like sound mind on what they're doing. A lot of people they set up things you don't know what they're doing. But you really got to isolate and know what you want, hear the voice of God and hear your own voice before you take into other people's voice ultimately.
That's so true.
Yeah. But
So
that leads
true.
us that leads us to question two. It says, what temptations showed up after you made it? Basically like saying like you made it to whatever you wanted in life, basically. So what temptations really showed up?
I ain't make it yet, but compared to where I came from, I think the success. I mean, the temptation would be more so like you almost think you made it, so you kind of
Mm-hmm.
relax, and then kind of life goes by, and then it's like, dang, I made it to a level, but I kind of stopped there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, you like, wait a minute, I can go even further. So I
Exactly.
think the temptation for me would be more so, I guess, kind of putting a limit on God,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, and just cutting myself short.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying. I'd say that for me too. Like, you know how you get as to a certain point and you kind of get settled, and then God's
Yeah,
like,
you like,
okay, I didn't like think about this. Like, let's use Moses for an example. Moses could have gotten to the place where he brought the people out of with God's help, he brought the people out of Egypt, and then they could have got to the river and be like, hey, we're free now. We're settled, everybody's out, we're good. If he would have settled there, he would not have they would not have actually been free because the Egyptians was actually coming to reclaim them into slavery. So sometimes God moves in our lives. He brings us out of Egypt, but he does not want us to settle before we cross over the Red Sea. Get
Hmm.
what you feel me?
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to settle on that first job or that first thing that he does in ministry for us because he thinks, okay, you accepted your call to ministry, you accepted that job, you accepted that relationship or whatever it might be. However, you still have to cross that Red Sea. And even after you cross the Red Sea, you can't be like, okay, we crossed it. We're good now. God still has that promised land he wants to get, like he wants you to get to. Just because you cross the Red Sea, just because you've gained territory does not mean that's where God wants you to settle. He wants you to go to an area where it'll be full of milk and honey, and you will conquer and you will have many nations and many things that will flow from whatever He has for you to do. That promised land might be the job, the promised land might be a happy place, the promised land might be success. But you never, like Darren was saying, you should never get just settled in being a part of the B team when you can strive to be a part of the A team.
Yeah, that's good. But what I'm hearing y'all say is like, don't be complacent. Don't get complacent with what God has for you and your success. Be like,
Hmm.
yeah,
you might be like, oh, this one thing, this one little teddy bear or whatever he gave me is so cute, right? And
Hmm.
then God got like a whole warehouse that he want to give you, but you don't know because you're like, I'm good with this little thing. But I wanted to say when you brought up Moses, it made me think about what characters in the Bible were successful and what might have happened with their success. And I thought about Solomon and like how he had all the success. He was wealthy. Wasn't he the wealthiest man on earth or something? Or at
He
one
was
point?
wealthier than anybody else before him.
Okay, so he had all of that, but then I feel like where he went wrong is by marrying out like outside of like foreign women, a whole bunch of foreign women.
Hmm.
And so I feel like that I'm not saying like yeah, I'm just saying like when you reach a certain point of success, you just gotta be careful of what you begin to indulge into. Because God can give you, He's like, hey, I've given you all of these things, and yes, it's yours to have, but I want you to take this and not go any further. So it's up to us to be like, okay, Lord, thank you for what you have given me. You know what I mean? And not go beyond that.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
well, that's 100% true. 100% true. Some
And
people.
just a quick thing too, because I realized based on what we kind of said before, like I don't know what people think like when God bless you and give you something, or if God have something for you, we think that He can't snatch that thing back
Oh yeah.
and not allow you to have it. Like I'm starting to see a lot of people like have that mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Mm,
Like if you don't, you can okay. If God got something for you, you can still mess it up to the point where you don't receive it or you lose it, because a lot of people in the Bible were on the verge of losing everything, but they repented. Like that was the only thing that stopped God from snatching away what He had in store for them. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to get
right.
too deep off, but I just wanted to throw that in there. That was it.
That's true,
Yeah, that's
man.
true.
That's true. You can talk your way out of a blessing. You can, you know, go outside the will of God, and God revokes what basically was supposed to be for you. And people be like, well, I thought God said he can't go against his word. He didn't go against his word. But you can like God in God's word says keep his commandments. If you go against his word, he, that you did that,
Mm,
not him.
Like look at
Um,
King Saul. You know, he
mhm,
lost what
right.
he was supposed to have what David had, but he lost it. You know. So,
exactly. Esau,
Oh
yeah,
all of
man.
same
Esau,
thing. Yeah.
all of them. That was supposed
Yeah.
to be his, but you know.
I feel like a good example though is Esther. I feel like on the flip side of it, she did a good job of when it was time to step up. She didn't forget where she came from.
Yeah.
She immediately was like, all right, let's start fasting right now. Like I need all y'all to start fasting. So but
Yeah.
you want me to
God
ask the
first.
next one? What'd you say, Derek?
No, I just said yeah, God first.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
You want me to ask the next one?
Yeah, question three. That'll be the last one of this episode.
Okay. How do you protect your character when doors start opening faster than your maturity?
I'd say, don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant, when doors start opening. Because ultimately God will open up those doors whenever He's ready to open those doors for you and whenever ultimately you're ready. Um, but you can see what can happen if you don't react well, if you act arrogant. People will start to make your road harder. You get what I'm saying? Like Joseph, for an example. He had blessings and blessings on blessings that God was ready for him to have, but he kept on boasting and going out before his brothers and stuff, talking about how they was gonna bow down to him, and ultimately they hated him so bad they wanted to kill him,
Yeah.
and like ultimately they didn't kill him, but they sold him to slavery. But ultimately we see how God brought him back to be, second command in Egypt. But at the same time, maybe he didn't have to go through all that if he would have kept his mouth shut and let God cook. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we just gotta sit back, keep our mouth shut, put our head down, and let God cook. Because we don't want to make our road harder than it has to be. God already, if God said this was going to happen, it's going to happen. But we determine what road we're going to take to get there. If God
Right.
says you're going to be the president of the United States one day, okay, it's going to come to pass. But you can go and do all these things to make your path harder, where you gotta debate with all these people. People gotta come up against you. You've done a whole bunch of dirt. You know what I'm saying? You do like whatever choice you make will make that path harder or further away. But that thing will still come to pass. If God said it, it will come to pass. But sometimes you elongate that journey because you are too arrogant, or you want to do things your way.
That's true. I feel like Darren kind of answered it. I don't know if you want to elaborate, because I'm just adding to this. But when you said put God first, I feel like that answers this question.
Hmm.
Yeah, cause he'll I mean it's cliche, but it's the truth. He'll lead and guide you through. So you might not feel ready or whatever the case is, but he may see something in you. Or it's not even a fact of you being ready. It might be just more of a time like to be humble and let him guide you and lean on him more because you know you're not ready. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
might be the play right there. Like he's like, look, if you were ready, then you would be boastful, like Christian was saying. Like you gotta
Right.
stay humble. So I know you ain't ready, and I'm gonna lead you down it. That way you have no choice but to lean on me because you really know you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's good, y'all. So like, put God first and like be humble. I think also make sure you have wise counsel around you, especially if you feel like you're maturing beyond where, or doors are opening beyond your maturity, and you want to protect your character. Put people around you that will protect you. Put people around you that notice things you don't notice about yourself, and people that's gonna not always say yes, yes, to what you're doing and saying. They're gonna challenge you and be like, "Hey, did you think about this? Did you go to God about this? Did you put this up against the Word of God?" We got to put people like that. You have to have people like that in your circle.
100% true. Anybody else have anything to add to this?
no, that was good.
Yeah, yeah. I think this was a good topic for us today. We will cover some more of these questions probably later into this season. I feel like this is the area nobody really talks about as far as surviving success, because a lot of people don't know how to handle success. That's why they don't have much success, because God know they can't handle it. But um I believe that a lot of people watching the show, and even us, will have a lot of success in our life, but we have to learn how to survive it, and not throw it in other people's face, and not make people feel a certain type of way because we are striving and doing those things. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in for this episode. Make sure you like, tab, subscribe to this channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss any videos. Make sure you follow us, Impact Podcast Show on Instagram, Christian Kennedy on Instagram, underscore Money, and Naraya.tv, and Rockstone Church on Instagram. Just follow all of us there if you want to. If I went through that too quick, just go ahead and rewind. You'll get all of that information. And make sure you tune into future episodes. We'll have some great things in store for y'all. And only the best is yet to come for this podcast.
Amen.
And we know that this is going to impact somebody's future. And we are pointing to the cross. So thank y'all for tuning in again. We'll see y'all next time.